Good evening. My name's Colin Sinclair. I am the Head of High School and the Diploma Programme Coordinator at Bogert. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the Diploma Programme Overview. Everything about the course, the options available and what you have to do to successfully complete this. I've already spoken to both groups in MYP 5, giving an overview already, so it shouldn't be new to any of them. It may not be new to you either. It's just to help clarify, give an overview and help answer any questions or queries you might have, because we're asking for some provisional choices from students now on what they are thinking about studying in September. So there we go. The IB Diploma has a number of components to it. There are 6 subject groups, along with a core of activities as well, which I'll go on to explain a little bit further, which are essential to following and passing the IB Diploma. And in the middle of it is understanding and learning different approaches to teaching and learning, which will equip students with a good skill set for their future studies. The IB Diploma is particularly liked by universities, especially UK universities who do rate it very highly, but it's seen as a very robust, well-rounded programme. I'm going to start with entry onto the diploma though. This is something that is really important to get students focused in MYP 5. Looking at the sort of students who do well in the IB Diploma and those who don't, really you've got to have successful completion of the MYP programme with a minimum of 28 points. Any less, we are a non-selective school. We do not have an entrance exam or test. So we allow anybody to come. But to go onto the DP programme, you need this minimum of 28 points or you will not be successful. And that basically means at least a 3 in all subjects, including personal project. So I know the reports are really fresh and have just recently come out yesterday. It's one to look at the reports and refresh. Is your son, daughter consistently at 3s or above? How are they actually doing? It's a real determining factor of how they're going to do in the diploma programme. There are 8 subjects that are counted out of the 9, and so the highest subject per group counts towards that point total. So if you've got 2 humanities or 2 sciences and one's lower than the other, then we do count the higher the grade. Obviously, if you fail to achieve the minimum results for 28, you're going to fail the MYP 5 anyway. And we really need to have a talk about what is best to continue, whether it's better to redo MYP 5. But that is something best discussed individually. So this is the criteria before getting onto the IB Diploma that makes a student successful and able to undertake the IB Diploma. It is done in English, except obviously for the languages. And if English is not your mother tongue, then you will have to take English B at higher level. There is no standard level. We feel that English is core to being successful. It's an English speaking school. It's an international baccalaureate qualification in English. So we need to really push those English language skills. So therefore, the only requirement that we really do have on top of getting the 28 points is being able to demonstrate a B2 level in English to access the programme. In our experience, those who don't have B2 rarely do well in the IB Diploma. So that is the one tool that you really need to hit the ground running. So what we are going to do at the end of the academic year is have an English placement test for English, just to ensure you have the skills to undertake the programme. What we don't want to do is accept you and set you up for failure. We can't do that. We have a duty on for the student and for you to ensure that they are equipped with the skills to be able to carry out the program. So what does the program look like? There's a lot on this next screen. This is the full overview. Now, students have to take one subject from each group, with the caveat of arts, where if you don't take arts, you can take one from any of the other groups except for mathematics. So in group one, that is essentially your mother tongue. It's language and literature, not pure literature. So it's a focus on language and literature, but it's your mother tongue language. What is your mother tongue language? Well, it's the one that you are most competent, happy working in, or the language you speak at home. So if you're French speaking, it's probably going to be French. If you're English, it's English. However, I know some students have been working in English, maybe have been in Bogat since PYP, and have had 5-6 years of English speaking education. For them, even though their mother tongue, the language they speak at home, may not be English, English A may be most suitable for them. So that's a discussion that we have with the students and the parents on what is the most suitable language A. However, there are lots of other options. We have this wonderful group called School Supported Self-Taught Language A, which is only available at standard level. But maybe you want to continue with your own mother tongue. Maybe you're Croatian or Russian or Vietnamese, and you want to keep that language going. And maybe that's your strongest language. Maybe you're good in English, but it's a second language, it's a B language. Maybe only studying English for 2 or 3 years. And at 2 or 3 years, you're best studying English as a B language. And I'm sure your son, daughter would do awesome at that. And in fact, most of our language B students do fantastically well. So if that's the case, then, and maybe French isn't your mother tongue, then you can choose School Supported Self-Taught Language A. And so far, I've had Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, Italian, Croatian, just to name, Dutch I've got this year as well, just to name but a few. So it really opens things up that you can study in your mother tongue. The only minor issue with that is it's school supported self-taught. So either you have to find a tutor, or I have a company we work with that provides tutoring services, but there is an additional cost for that. If you're interested, I can pass you on all of the details. We have excellent results with this company who help and work with the student, and our school supported self-taught coordinator, who's our language A teacher, to build your portfolio. Moving on to group 2, that's pretty simple. It's a second language. So you take a group 1, your mother tongue, and a group 2. And we offer currently French, English, or Spanish. However, the only other thing to add there is maybe you are bilingual French and English. You can actually take 2 group 1s. You can take 2 A languages. And I have quite a few students this year who are awesome in French and are French mother tongue, but awesome in English because they've been with us for 5-6 years, and they're actually taking 2 A languages. So you take 1 group 1 and 1 group 2. So you've got 2 languages, 1 mother tongue, 1 language acquisition, but with the possibility of taking 2 group 1s. Let me stress though, group 1 is assuming you are fully fluent in that language. Group 1, your mother tongue is not for learning the language, it's for analysing and interpreting the language and literature. It's assuming full fluency. Whereas group 2 is actually perfecting, improving your language and grammar and your spoken, written, your reading, the actual grammar side and the actual nuts and bolts of learning a language and becoming fully fluent. So if you want to improve your language, it's the language B, whereas group 1, language A, is assuming full fluency. So that's the groups. You take one from group 1, one from group 2. Group 3 is individuals and societies, or humanities. It's very much an essay-based group. So we have business, which is the practical side of business and how the business operates, how it does its marketing and its finance. And then you've got economics, which is the wider environment that businesses work in. It's government tax policy, fiscal policy, tax, the sort of wider aspects of the economy, supply and demand, macro, microeconomics, etc. Then we have history, which we've got Asia and Oceania at the moment, which is quite an unusual combination, but fascinating. History is a good all-round, good research subject that equips you with the skills for further university study, and also an awesome subject to take if you're interested in law in the future, because your research skills that you use in history is a good foundation for the sort of case study research that you will do in law. Now, I'll finish with group 3 on environmental systems and societies, or ESS. You can see there it's at the end of group 3, but also in group 4. It can fit in either. It's cross-discipline. It can be treated as a group 3, individuals and societies, or it can be a science. Now, as the name suggests, it's talking about the environment and the systems that operate in the environment, and us as a society and the societies within there, and how we impact on the environment and what a mess we've made of it and continue to make of it.
Colin, I think we're also offering psychology next year.
Oh yes, yes, that was something that has come back, so I will add to that. We have psychology as well. And obviously psychology is the study of the human brain and as human beings of how we act and operate. There is a little bit of maths in psychology, as there is in business and economics. In fact, it sometimes surprises students. Oh, I've got to do a mathematical analysis of my case study group. But we offer the psychology as well. ESS can be a science as well. Now, ESS is the least sciencey science. You'll see we've got the 3 traditional ones: biology, chemistry, physics. They're the lab-based sciences. If your son, daughter really hates those sciences, they might be better off with ESS. Having said that, I've got some students who love science and they're doing biology and chemistry. And as their group 3, they're actually doing ESS as well, because they want to sort of shoehorn in a 3rd science. So ESS is sort of geography, humanity with a bit of biology. It's sort of a mixed cross-discipline subject. Then we have group 5 mathematics. All students have to take maths. We have 2 types of maths. We have analysis and approaches, and applications and interpretations. And my next slide will actually explain the differences between them. Analysis and approaches is at standard level and higher level, and applications and interpretations is only at standard level. Our last group is arts, or visual arts. And it's a wonderful subject. We have some very charismatic teachers teaching that. And it's the only subject that doesn't end in an examination. All of the other groups will have 2 or maybe 3 exams, whereas visual art, you're assessed on your portfolio of what you have produced. And if you are a creative student, it's a really good subject to take. Will it be good for your future university applications? Absolutely. Some students think, oh, well, if I take visual arts, it's no good it won't look good on my university application. Well, it's not an easy subject, and it's not easy to become a very good artist. It's something that takes practice and determination. And it shows a real creative mindset, and it's great for future university courses as well as future employment prospects. We need creative thinkers in this world. So if you're an artist, you're already a creative thinker. We need people who work in business who are creative or creative problem solvers. We need engineers who can think creatively around a problem. In addition, there's some wonderful careers in art. It's just huge. The art industry with 3D technology is just huge. You know, we have a massive industry in games design. It is absolutely huge. You've got the artists who work in it, the people who do the rigging, the 3D designs, and you have all of the animated movies, which are so popular nowadays, as well as the special effects for all the big blockbuster movies. And so as a subject, it's wonderful. It has validity, and it has a great future, and it has great employment prospects. So you take one from group one from group two, one from group three, one from group four. Sorry, I've lost my, where are you? Come back. Come back screen. Oh, well, I need to admit somebody else in there. Ah, there we go. One from group five, and arts in group six is optional. So if you really don't like this wonderful subject that is arts, or maybe you have absolutely zero talent in art like me. I love art. I love to see it. I love to see the artists working in the art room, but I have no art talent whatsoever. If, like me, you can't do art, then you can either choose a second science or a second group three. So maybe you want to choose business and economics, or maybe you want to choose economics and history, or you could choose a third language. So maybe you're English language A and you want to do French and Spanish. That's a possibility as well. So maybe you're a strong linguist. Maybe languages is your strong point, so you could take 3 languages. So there's all these possibilities if you don't want to do art. So obviously, some of these subjects lead on to a career pathway that is very much a prerequisite. So if you want to work in medicine or biomedical sciences, you want to be a doctor or anything around there, then you must take biology and chemistry. In the same way, if you want to do anything to do with engineering or computer science or anything technical like that, you will probably need physics and maths analysis higher level. Obviously, if you want to study history further at university, you need to study history. However, subjects like business are awesome. I'm a business teacher myself. I'm an examiner for the IB. However, at university, you don't have to have studied business to study business at university. So that's not a prerequisite. Same with economics. If you want to study economics at university, you just need good maths. And same with psychology. If you want to study psychology at university, you again need good maths because there's a lot of statistical analysis. So I hope that gives you a good all-round overview of the subjects and how they fit together and how you choose one from each group. There are other subjects that can be done online by Pomoja, and Pomoja have been around for quite some time now. Pre-COVID, they were doing online subjects. And there's ITGS, which is Information Technology in a Global Society. There's also film and Mandarin ab initio and philosophy. These are done sort of in a virtual classroom with a teacher. It's not all Zoom. In fact, there's not a lot of Zoom. There's a lot of independent work. So the students got to be very self-motivated to do that and very trustworthy to manage their time. Unfortunately, again, there's an additional cost for that. It's about 1,400 euros per year. But if you're a budding filmmaker or you want to work in sort of IT, it gives you an insight into that actual subject. Now on to maths. Just to clarify the two maths options, mathematics analysis and approaches is available at higher level and standard level, whereas mathematics applications and interpretations is standard level only. So analysis and approaches is your real in-depth maths. It's used for engineering, the physical sciences, if you go and study biology, chemistry. It's some economics, some psychology. If you're wanting to study something that needs a good level of maths, you need to do analysis and approaches. Higher level is for those students who are really good at maths. For those students who wake up in the morning, see double maths on their timetable and think, yes, I've got double maths today. I've got lots of maths. I love it. It's very theoretical maths. You need maths higher level if you're doing engineering or computer science. But at the same time, you've got to be both have an aptitude for higher level maths and be prepared to put the hard work in. It is very, very much an extension of extended maths, and it extends further and further. The SL maths analysis is perhaps for, like I say, people want to go and study economics or psychology and need a good level of maths without being completely in love with it. Then we have the least hard maths in the IB Diploma. I say the least hard because there is no easy maths in the IB Diploma, only a least hard. And these are for people who just need the maths to get along. You need maths in business, obviously. You need some maths in some levels of engineering that aren't the higher level engineering. You need maths in anything to do with the natural sciences or social sciences, but at a lower level. The difference between the two as well is applications is all calculator based. So you learn to use the calculator in a practical way, whereas analysis and approaches, there is a non-calculator paper. So you actually have to really know the maths on a completely different level. Whereas in the real world, obviously, we all use calculators and all our engineers use calculators and don't work it out by hand. But there is very much a more theoretical level to analysis and approaches than applications and interpretation. Moving on. The core subjects, I mentioned this, what makes the IB Diploma unique is they have some core subjects. Not only do you have your 6 subject groups, but we have something called theory of knowledge. And as it states on the presentation, how do we know what we know? How do we know that experimentation in human sciences is a reliable method to gain data and to gain knowledge? How do we know that that methodology for that science experiment will get us the truth, will get us the knowledge that we need? So it's very much critical thinking skills, and it's something you apply to all your subjects. That really does set it apart from A-levels or anything, is the level of critical thinking you'll do that will help you in your future studies as well. Then they also do an extended essay, which is an in-depth piece of research, 4,000 words, or an experiment that the student chooses the subject and the topic choice. There's also a creativity action service element, and students are expected to be good all-rounded people in the IB Diploma and to be active, but to provide service to other people. CAS is just pass or fail. You have to pass CAS. If you don't pass CAS, you fail. But TOK and the EE actually give you bonus points as well. Each subject in the IB Diploma, you gain a maximum of 7 points. So 7 times 6, you can tell I'm a good mathematician here. 7 times 6, you've got 42 points. And with another 3 points on an offer for an AA or AB in TOK and EE, you can gain a maximum of 45 points, which we had one student do last year, absolute maximum points. Each subject as well has 240 hours of teaching or guided learning hours for a higher level, and 150 for a standard level. So in the grand scheme of things, it's more and more depth. So let me move on. Whilst there are exams at the end of DP2 that count towards the final overall grade, you also do an internal assessment per subject, which usually counts for about 20%. Or if you're language A higher level, you will do a written assignment and an oral exam. So all of this adds up as being assessed before the final exams, and then you'll do your 2 or 3 exams, depending on whether it's standard level or high level, at the end of DP2, except for art, where there are no exams. So some students like it just because it's a bit of a relief from the exam pressure. In fact, quite a lot of students enjoy the art, and it's a welcome break from the pressure of all the IBDP subjects. Okay, move on. Just to show you what the passing requirements are. You've got to pass all of your 6 subjects. You must pass your CAS. You must have 24 points or more, and you must have submitted everything for every subject. So you can't miss an IA or anything. You can't fail your theory of knowledge or extended essay. You're not allowed a grade 1 in any subject. You are not allowed to have more than 2 grade 2s. Now, obviously, if you're getting more than 2 grade 2s, your overall point score is going to be quite low anyway, and it's going to make it hard for you to pass. You're also not allowed more than 3 grade 3s. So if you've got 4 3s, you've got 12 points, and say you get 2 6s as well, you've got another 12 points. You've got 24 points, but you can't pass the IB diploma because you can have no more than 3 grade 3s. I hope that makes sense. What you've also got to do in your higher level subjects is gain 12 points or more. So out of your 3 higher levels, you could have a 3, a 4 and a 5, adds up to 12. You could have a 6, a 4 and a 2. It doesn't matter as long as you get those 12 points or more. And again, if you look at the next one down, you have to have 9 points for your in your SL subjects. And really importantly, you must not have a penalty for academic misconduct. And we've been talking recently to MYP about academic misconduct and ensuring your work has academic integrity. The further down school you go, the more acceptable it is that the students think to sort of, oh, I forgot my homework, I'm just going to copy my friends. We cannot do that in the DP. We've got to set the students up to be successful in university. If you have academic misconduct at university, you get thrown out of university. So we have a duty of care to prepare them for that. So just to be aware, we take academic integrity seriously, and if we like to know that it's the student's own work, and I know some students work with tutors, it's fine, but the student has to be the own work of the student, and the student has to be able to understand the work fully. So if we have concerns that, okay, maybe this isn't written quite the way the student would have written it, then it's part of the procedures of the IB diploma and our procedures that we have a discussion with the student to ascertain, find out that it really is the student's own work, along with plagiarism checking tools like PlagScan. We're here to help the students, and obviously we provide guidance on making sure the work is cited properly, etc., and that they have academic integrity. Also with the Viva Voce, there is with the extended essay, there is a Viva Voce. They present it to their supervisor and their peers. Quickly moving on. We have an advisory program within the DP program as well, which will help students on note-taking, study skills, exam technique, providing student support, help with the extended essay, help with academic integrity, and this goes on throughout the year as part of the advisory progress. And then amongst that, we do obviously look at students' well-being, and we do university counselling as well. This may not be my role next year, but up until now, I've provided counselling for helping students go to university, looking at what to study and looking at where to go, exploring that, writing personal statements, etc., etc. Just to finish off, the last, it was quite a successful year last year. We had an average point score of 33.5 with the highest grade of 45. We do communicate with parents and keep you in the loop. We use ManageBack extensively, but my teachers also are very ready to contact home to talk about progress. In my experience, we've had some students fail, but these are students who did not achieve the 28 points in the MYP, and who have also, the communication with parents has been thorough and continuous, and the feedback for the students has been thorough and continuous. But unfortunately, we had 1 or 2 students who didn't follow our guidance, who didn't gain those 28 points, who did fail last year. But as you can see, those who do succeed very well, with an average of 33.5 and a highest of 45. So running back to that criteria, it is very important that we consider that MYP passing criteria when students come into the IB diploma and considering their future progress throughout those 2 years. So I've spoken for about nearly 30 minutes there, and there's a lot to take in. Hopefully your sons, daughters have started speaking to you about those choices already. I'm more than happy to talk to parents and students on an individual basis if you have specific thoughts or queries or future sort of possible career plans that you sort of think, well, what would the best subjects be for that? I'm more than happy to help with that. What I would say though is choose subjects you are good at and enjoy. So it's okay being passionate about physics, but if you're not very good at physics, don't take it. You know, you've got to have the passion and the aptitude. I always tell this every year, I am passionate about playing guitar, but at best, I'm an absolutely mediocre guitar player. I'm never going to have a professional career in music as a guitarist, even though I love it, even though I'm passionate about it. I don't have the ability in that. So it's matching the two up. Having the passion, having the real aptitude in a subject, and having that passion and linking them together. So, you know, if you want to, maybe you really do want to be an engineer, but if your maths, if you cannot do higher level maths, we need to rethink either another pathway into engineering or something else.